Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His Word. And family. Oh my gosh, I am in such a great mood tonight because this lesson here. First, let's start off with this here first. Hold on, time out. Y'all already know that, of course, my favorite part of the week. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And once again, thank you for bringing us in with your brother this week. Now, I get to act a damn fool here for a second. Family, I'm telling y'all right now, I love it when the Father just drop them down right into the spirit, right into your soul. And you hear scripture over and over, but it's just the scripture that stands out when the Father says, look up, for your redemption draws nigh. And with what I'm getting ready to bring out right now, I'm telling you, family, this is it. We are there. We are approaching everything that we have been working hard for. We are approaching to see our big brother and the chariots return. We are approaching to finally see our Father. We are approaching. Now is the time that everybody need to be on their P's and Q's. This is the time that you need to be making sure that you are keeping the commandments, because that hourglass has been flipped around and the sand is running out. The sand is running out. And this is, I'm telling y'all right now, this is the most exciting time to be on earth, because all of our ancestors in the past, they were looking forward to this day. They were looking forward to everything that is happening now. Everything that Christ told the disciples, everything that the Father showed our brothers and sisters in the past, when they were able to look into the future and see the conditions that we were in. Our conditions are getting ready to change. Whether you choose to believe it or not does not matter. The prophecies are going crazy. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is a lesson where we are going to be taking the world and putting it into the Word, and the Word will prove the world. Okay? So the scriptures are not going to come out until more of the end. I'm saving the scriptures for the end because I'm going to be reading some articles here. I'm going to be reading articles, and hopefully after tonight's lesson, I'm going to be able to encourage and engage you to start putting your nose into the political arena and see what's going on around you. You see, a lot of people fear the political arena, and the reason being is because they are not familiar with the linguistics that people use in politics. But I'm telling you, it's very, very easy. You can't fear these things, okay? Like I've been teaching y'all since we started here. You have to dissect what Esau does. But tonight is very, very blatant. It's very, very blatant. So let's go ahead and start with this here. And I tell you, I don't want you to fear the political arena. And you're going to find out why tonight, because it's very, very, very easy. Now, some of you may or may not be familiar with Joe Biden's Summit of Democracy that took place on December 9th and December 10th. And leading up to this, China and Russia went ahead and put his foot in America's ass. Buried it all the way in there, shoes off. Got it all the way in there. And it pissed America off. And you're going to see what's going on with all of this and how this Summit of Democracy, it relates to our prophecy. You're going to see. And I can't wait to bring this out to you. So, of course, the first thing that we have to do here, right? We have to make sure that you understand the terms, because a lot of this is going to speak about democracy and things of that nature. Now, of course, you already know I love bringing these definitions out to you. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to get the definition of a democracy. We're going to get the definition of a democracy. Let's go ahead and get that really fast so that you can see whether or not if America is truly indeed a democracy. Let's see, because as they tell you, they say America is a democracy. This is a democratic country. You're going to find out whether it is or if it's not. Democracy definition: which derives from the Greek word demos, or people, is defined basically as government in which the supreme power is vested in the people. Or in the memorable phrase of President Abraham Lincoln, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So family, I'm going to ask you right now, is that true? Is the power of the government vested in the people? Now, I'm not going to say us because we don't even belong to a part of this government. We are God's children. We abide by his laws. We go by his laws. But of course, we are in a captive state, which makes us unfortunate residents of this country. But getting back to a democracy, would you say that this country is a democracy? Would you? America is not a democracy, and I'll prove it. There is something that they used to have us do in school, and we were very naive to what we were doing. It's called the Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all remember that? The Pledge of Allegiance? And of course, I'm not going to do it. They used to make you put your hand over your heart, your right hand over your heart, and make you recite this. I'm going to recite it real quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. And I'm not even going to go any further because I'm not even going to blaspheme the Father. I'm not going to play myself and do that. But to the republic, in the U.S.'s own Pledge of Allegiance, it tells you what they actually are. They are a republic. They're not a democracy. And you're going to find out, even the other countries know this, and they're going to call America out on it. And we're going to get there with these articles. So that was the definition of a democracy. And you will know that this place is not a democratic country. So, of course, in all fairness, if we have to get the definition of democracy, we're going to get the definition of a republic, because we're going to make sure that anything that I say will be backed up, valued as true. Republic. Form of government in which a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. Stop. Does America have a House of Representatives? Do you have representatives that represent you in your local districts? So let me read that one more time, family. Just one more time. Republic, form of government in which a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. Because citizens do not govern the state themselves, but through representatives. Republics may be distinguished from direct democracy, though modern representative democracies are by and large republics. Okay. So by the own definition of republics, it tells you that America is a republic state. It's a Republican country. How do we know? By the way you vote. Now, first and foremost, we'll get into this here in a second. I'm going to bring out the scripture. You're not supposed to be voting. And there's conditions behind you voting. We'll get it here in a second with the scriptures. But do you know how the voting system works? And especially when it comes to the presidency of the United States. When you go and cast your vote, you go to a ballot box and you put your vote in. You're not voting for the person that you think you're voting for. You are voting for a representative to make a decision for you. Because the president is elected by the Electoral College, so they say, but it's not. There's never been an elected president. There has always been selected presidents. And that's a whole nother lesson that we'll get into. But your vote does not go to a majority that elects a president. It goes to a representative. You live in a Republican country. This is not a democracy. So for Joe Biden to come in out with this summit of democracy, he's full of crap. Absolute soft baby food crap. And he puts this on an American platform. Not just once, but twice. Once on the 9th and the other on the 10th. Okay. So now, just to go back and show you here, I want you to go to Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 15, please. Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 15. Ooh, I'm telling y'all, we're going to get down tonight because when we have these types of lessons, I lose myself in these types of lessons, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's not because of the material, but it's because of the scripture that we're going to read that's going to tie everything up. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to bang them. Ooh, it's going to bang them. It's going to bang them. Now watch. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. Watch this. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee. So this is talking to the Israelites. Thou shalt in any way wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren, one from among thy brethren. The Father will raise up a king over us. We know Esau. We know Ham. We know Japheth. We know all these other nations are not our brothers. So why are you voting when the Father told you not to? Because when you vote for anybody that is not an obedient Israelite, you are in sin. But let's continue. I'm going to read it one more time. I'm going to read it all the way through. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. The Father tells you clearly, you cannot vote to put somebody in power over you that is not your brother. So you know who that eliminates? That eliminates any female, because we just went over last week that the Father said a woman shall not usurp authority over a man. Did we or did we not? So, Kamala or Kamala Harris, whatever the hell her damn name is, if any of y'all voted for Biden, or anybody for that matter that was not an Israelite, you're in sin. And you got to pay for that. You know why? Because you put an overlord over our people. I'm telling y'all, this ain't no joke. This is not a joke. Okay, so now going back to the Republic. And like I said, all of this is going to make sense once everything here is tied up. Going back to the Republic. Republic, form of government in which a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. All right, so now let me ask you a question. With the pandemic going on, right? We're going to see if one is Democrat or one is Republican. And this all has relevance because of the article that we're going to read. So you have a Democrat and you have a Republican state. During this pandemic right here in the U.S., was it or was it not mandated that people have to be, you know what? I can't use the word or I'll get dinged. So, did they or did they not say that if you were not, you know what, you would lose your jobs? You can't go into certain facilities. You can't do certain things. So remember, a democratic state says here that the people run the government. And this one over here says that representatives will run the people. So it was these representatives, and I'm giving the clue away right now, it was these representatives that made those mandates. The people disagreed, well, some people, but the representatives said, hey, if y'all don't, then you're going to lose your jobs. You can't go to certain places. Does that sound like a democratic state? No. It's a Republican state. And so now we're going to read an article. Well, first, what we're going to do, we're going to start with what Joe Biden's so-called summit of democracy is all about, because you have to see the humor in this. You have to see the humor and the hypocrisy. And I'm telling you, this is all going to hit home when we read these scriptures that's coming out later today. Okay, the Summit for Democracy. Get out of my way. The Summit for Democracy. Here's a quote from Joe Biden. Democracy doesn't happen by accident. We have to defend it, fight for it, strengthen it, renew it. Now, Joe Biden said that back in February 2021, just to show you how far back he was planning this summit of democracy. So the question that I have for you, why would he call this place a democracy when it's very well a republic? Why would he do that? So now it's going to give you, and this is according to the website, the Summit of Democracy website, and here is his mission statement. Since day one, the Biden-Harris administration has made clear that renewing democracy in the United States and around the world, make sure you remember that seed planted around the world, is essential to meeting the unprecedented challenges of our time. On December 9th through 10th, 2021, President Biden held the first of two summits for democracy, which brought together leaders from government, civil society, pay attention to the next one, and private sector in our shared effort to set forth an affirmative agenda for democratic renewal and to tackle the greatest threats faced by democracies today through collective action. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Why did this man mention democracy so much when this place is a republic? Because there are indeed actual democratic countries out there. So first, as we read, before we even get into the article, as we read, Joe Biden is full of shit. And he is pulling the wool over people's faces. And the great thing about this is that China and Russia called him out. Yes, they did. And you're getting ready to read it right now. China and Russia is not playing right now. I'm not sure if y'all are keeping up with the news, but China and Russia, they are not playing. They went ahead and formed a union. And of course, they're all on the same continent. They've always been in union, whether you believe it or not. But they've just went ahead and publicly formed a union for the whole world to see. For the whole world to see that they are not playing and they are not backing down or dealing with America's BS anymore. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to read this article. And of course, the link will be in the description for you to see. And I'm going to show you so that you don't think that I'm making stuff up. It's right here, right here. China and Russia attack Biden's so-called Summit of Democracy. And this actually came out on December 15th, 2021. Very, very recent. And of course, this is coming from CNN. This is directly from CNN. Chinese and Russian state media. Let me stop for a second before I read this. I want to make sure that y'all understand. This is going to be very skewed. And do you know why? Because this is coming from an American. First of all, this is coming from CNN, all right? The Caucasian News Network, all right? The children of the damn devil. This is coming from theirs. I'm going to read it one more time. Chinese and Russian state media are working in overdrive to denigrate the Biden administration Summit for Democracy taking place this week, calling the project hypocritical. So let me ask you a question. Is China and Russia lying? Are they? No. Just by what we read. Just by what we read on our own, per definition. America is a Republican country, but they are running through and putting on the mask of democracy. And China and Russia are calling them out. A flurry of tweets from Chinese diplomats refer to the event as a so-called democracy summit while a Russian political commentator writing in a state-run Chinese newspaper compared the U.S. initiative to, listen to this here, to a mistress of a brothel trying to teach morale to schoolgirls. Ooh. Did you hear what that said? They're not playing with America. This Russian came out and said, listen, wait a minute, whoa. First of all, China said that America are a bunch of hypocrites. He said this whole summit of democracy that Joe Biden is calling all these world leaders to, he said he is an absolute hypocrite. And then the Russian comes and says, wait a second, hold on. First of all, America really wants to talk about morale? Wait a second. This is compared to a whore in a brothel trying to teach morale and a respect to schoolgirls, to little girls. Meaning it's absolutely disgusting what America is trying to do. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. That media blitz is coming from official mouthpieces and not shadowy bots and trolls. Reflects anxiety over U.S. efforts to rally support for democratic norms and potentially isolate Beijing and Moscow in the process, experts on authoritarian propaganda tell CNN. So what is it saying here? So the writer is saying, wait a second, hold on, time out. These are not some shadowy trolls and bots talking about people that don't matter, voices that don't matter, opinions. This is being said by the officials, the people who make moves, the people who are allowed to press the button, the big shots, the big dogs, the people that matter are saying this about America. Meaning these Chinese diplomats and also these Russian officials, the presidents, czars, all these individuals. And they're not playing with America anymore. They're like, yo, wait a second. America, first of all, America is doing what it's so used to doing. Wait a second. We're America. We're the world police. Stop. No, we're going to go ahead and take over everything that's happening right now. And in the past, countries used to buckle down to that. Like, all right, yo, America throwing up their authority. All right, yo, fall back. Chill. But now, these other countries, China and Russia, two big countries. And especially if they are united, is a force to be reckoned with. And they're like, yo, hold on, America. Whoa. Hold on. Time out, nigga. Your bark is bigger than your bite. Fall back, nigga. We're not trying to hear that no more. Yo, all that's done. Pump your brakes. They calling America out. And they have the resources to do it. But we're going to get more into that a little bit later. Let me finish reading this. China and Russia see this as an opportunity to exacerbate cynicism in the political West and undermine any headlines that come out of this summit, said Jessica Brandt. Let me stop for a second. So, of course, this Jessica Brandt is an American writer and a empathizer with the Biden administration. So what she is saying here is that China and Russia are trying to exacerbate, meaning to make something seem worse than what it is, but it's not, and you're going to find out. So in other words, this Jessica Brandt is taken up for America. Said Jessica Brandt, policy director of the Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Technology Initiative at the Brookings Institution. So family, I have to ask you a question. Who is this Jessica Brandt? What does she do? She is a policy director for the Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Technology Initiative. Let me ask you a question. Why the hell does her opinion matter? An artificial intelligence and emerging technology official? Why is that so important, family? Do y'all remember that lesson, we are at war? I told you. I told you. China and Russia, they spilling the beans. And you're going to find out. You're going to find out exactly what's going on with this here. Watch. Let's continue. It's a familiar playbook. The type of influence operation that the U.S. will likely have to contend with for years as it competes with the repressive governments to shape global opinions on governance, according to analysts. Quote, you're seeing this really concerted effort from China to undermine U.S. democracy and put forward an alternate view, said Kenton Thabo, a resident China fellow at the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab. A digital forensic? So wait a second. So now you have an artificial intelligence for emerging technology official and a digital forensic researcher. So many of you may not have any idea what a digital forensic researcher is. So let me go ahead and give you the definition of exactly what that is and what digital forensics is all about. Watch this. Digital forensics is the modern day version of forensic science and deals with the recovery and investigation of material found in digital devices. It is most often used in cybercrime situations, including but not limited to attribution, identifying leaks within an organization. So if you don't know what's going on right now, America is panicking. They're panicking. And now they're trying to get all their ducks in a row for some information that just may have leaked out that the world is not supposed to see. And now China and Russia, they're letting their balls show a little bit. They're letting their balls show. So now you have an artificial intelligence, an emerging technician pretty much on a case producing AI, and that's artificial intelligence, to go out and find these things here. What did they lose? What happened? What are they so afraid of leaking out that China and Russia may already know? Because America are not the only intelligence in the world with vast communication skills. It's about to go down, family. It's about to go down. Let's finish reading. The Summit of Democracy is one of the Biden administration's most high-profile efforts to promote democratic norms. The conference will feature virtual meetings Thursday and Friday and involve representatives of 100 governments. You have to understand this when I'm talking about bringing out these governments. I set the seed in the first paragraph, and now we're going to do another one here. 100 governments, along with civil society groups and journalists, according to the White House. Now, remember, we read that in the Summit of Democracy when we was reading about Biden. Quote, we approach this week with both humility and confidence. Humility in that we want to listen and learn and don't shy away from our shortcomings. Confidence in our constant striving for a more perfect union. Undersecretary of State and Civil Security, Democracy and Human Rights, Uzra Zeya, said Tuesday. So now Biden is pushing his officials out there. Make it sound good. Make them truly believe that it is a democracy when, indeed, it is a republic. The Biden administration plans to use the summit to announce new initiatives to fight corruption and defend free and fair elections, a senior administration official told reporters. It pointedly invited Taiwan to participate. Chinese and Russian officials are trying to undercut that message. Over the weekend, China held its own virtual international forum on democracy. Do y'all see what's happening? China's raising up and being like, look, we're tired of the BS. We're tired of the nonsense. America, we're not playing with you anymore. I'm going to read this again. Over the weekend, China held its own virtual international forum on democracy, reportedly joined by politicians and scholars from more than 120 countries. So when you weigh the two, who weighs more? China and Russia. America has 100 countries, but China and they said we got 120 countries, and released a White House paper falsely claiming its one-party system is a democracy that works better than the system in the U.S. So now what China is saying is like, yo, listen, first of all, I'm trying to speak to you Americans. China is saying, I'm trying to get the attention of you Americans to let you know that your government is playing you. You are not a democracy, you are a republic. Us over here, we are truly indeed a democracy. Your government has pulled the blanket over your eyes. Your government is lying to you. They have been lying to you, and we are about to put this out. We're going to show. We're rallying up all the countries right now so that we have the support. Just in case if America want to try to start some shit, we actually got it backed. Not only by our own armies, but also by our coalition as well. And our coalition outweighs yours. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Let's continue. The ambassadors of China and Russia to the U.S. fumed that the summit was anti-democratic, which America is anti-democratic because they're a republic. I'm going to keep saying that. In a joint opinion piece published in late November by the National Interest and American Magazine, the Chinese and Russian diplomats falsely referred to their countries as democracies. So now you have America saying, hold on, China and Russia, y'all are not democracies. And China and Russia saying, hold on, nigga, first of all, America, you are not a democracy, even though you say that you are. And we are getting ready to expose that you are not a democracy, but yet rather you are a republic, as your own Pledge of Allegiance says. So family, come on now. Come on now. Who are you believing right now? Who are you believing? Brett Schaefer, a senior fellow who tracks disinformation. Let me stop for a second. So do you see how America have all these trackers going around now trying to go and trying to pull information back? Find the leak. Find the leak. Find the leak. Brett Schaefer, a senior fellow who tracks disinformation at the Alliance of Securing Democracy, said that, quote, democracy has been the most popular Twitter hashtag for Chinese diplomatics. It really has been a messaging priority for China for weeks, Schaefer told CNN. When asked how the Biden administration might counter Russian and Chinese narratives around the summit, a senior administration official said, today, many autocratic governments advance the falsehood that only by restricting citizens' actions can societies ensure prosperity and security. Nothing could be further from the truth. Despite China's authoritarian political system and well-documented human rights abuses, the country's propagandists see the promotion of Chinese notions of governance as a path to legitimacy on the world stage. The world stage. All the governments around the world right now have their eyes focused on China, Russia, and the U.S., and people are taking sides. It's about to go down. Disinformation from both foreign actors and domestic sources is threatening the bedrock of democracies around the world and playing a major part in many of the world's crises. Did y'all hear what that just said? I'm going to read it one more time. Disinformation, meaning that there's some information out there Disinformation from both foreign actors and domestic sources is threatening the bedrock. The bedrock, meaning the foundation. The foundation now is being split. The foundation now is being destroyed. The foundation means that their system is getting ready to fall. All praises to the Most High God. Is threatening the bedrock of democracies around the world and playing a major part in many of the world's crises, Janowicz told CNN. It is important for the Biden administration to emphasize that truth is the cornerstone of both the Biden era and the democratic community it hopes to build. So let me go ahead and tell you something right now. No. The cornerstone is Christ. The bedrock is Christ, that foundation, the rock that has been built on, and you are not to do their government policies. You are to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Why? Because it's about to go down. Down, I tell you, down. So now y'all have to realize what's happening. These other countries do not see America as the superpower anymore. They're like, hold on, we found a kink in their armor. They can be taken out. They can be taken out. We're not being quiet anymore. We're not being afraid. We don't give a damn about America anymore. Now they're like, America, shut your damn mouth. Shut up, because we're about to put y'all out. And the Father has told us about this. So now what we're going to do, we are going to get these scriptures, baby. Now we're going to get these scriptures. Please, family, open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. And I want you to please go to Matthew chapter 24. Oh, yes, baby. Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to read this here. I can't wait for this. Oh, my goodness. So now, with everything that you have just taken in, here are the world governments all banging with each other right now. The world government saying, all right, hold on a second, this world superpower. Now, remember, the Father calls America Babylon. This is Babylon where we live. Here we go. Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Did we not read about that bedrock? We just read about that, did we? Did we or did we not? This is why I want y'all to please start putting your nose into the political arena, because the prophecies are held there. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? So the disciples like, okay, hold on a second. So we know that you're not talking about right now, because remember, disciples, they were able to see things too. Christ gave them the Spirit to be able to see these things. So they say, wait a second, hold on, time out. If it's not happening now, wait a minute. If it ain't happening now, when is it going to happen? In the end. In the end. Now. Verse 4, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. No man, nobody. Meaning keep your nose in this book. Read. Even when it comes to me, do not take my word for it. You open this book and you read it and you read along to make sure that you are checking me and making sure that I am bringing you the correct information. Don't take anybody's word.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And people think that is one person that they're talking about. One person that's going to come and say, hi, I'm Christ. Yeah, I'm the Christ. People have done that, but it's not what it's talking about. It's talking about Christianity. It's talking about all of these little sectors of Christianity and Catholicism. Talking about, yeah, they are Christ-like. No, they're not. And what is intertwined with politics? Let me ask y'all a question, family. Every major election year, whether it includes governors, presidents, mayors, what have you, who is always at the forefront of the voting stations? Tell me, who's at the forefront? You don't know? The churches. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars, and ye shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Stop. This is so significant. Christ is saying, first of all of these countries are going to start banging with each other. What did we just read? You have 100 countries versus 120. Opposing sides. In the political arena right now around the world, everybody right now is trying to decide, all right, hold on a second. America is fronting. What does China and Russia have on America? Have we been lied to? These other countries are like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, we have trade with this country and with this one because they're connected with this one and this one. So all that right now is crumbling. And especially after this pandemic. So the bedrock is crumbling. And when it says rumors of wars, I need y'all to understand. Rumor is not like somebody going, hey, I heard about this. No, rumor in this sense means they are talking about it. It's happening right here, live and in living color, right in front of you. Let's break this down some more. See that ye be not troubled. The Father's telling the saints, Christ is telling the saints, do not worry about what's going on. This is none of your business. This is the business of other nations. You, Israel, you continue to keep my laws. This is exactly why the Father said in Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15, do not vote for anybody that is not your obedient brother. All this happening right now is none of our business. None. All we have to do is just sit back, get a drink, get some popcorn, eat away. That's what Christ just told us to do. Sit back, mind your business. Mind your business. This has nothing to do with you. I'm going to handle that. For all these things must come to pass. Christ said it's going to happen. It is going to happen, and not a damn thing is going to stop it. But the end is not yet. So in other words, you're going to have to see these things happen. Listen. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes. Wait a minute now. So all these earthquakes, did you just recently hear about all the 40 earthquakes that just took place right now during the time of this political argument of all of these countries? It's happening right now. Are you awake? Are some of you, as you like to say, woke? Are you woke yet? Have you been awakened? Is the spirit of these scriptures getting into your soul and slapping you upside the head and be like, nigga, wake your ass up. The time is now. 2 weeks ago, we just talked about another prophecy being fulfilled. They had no choice but to announce that these so-called aliens and UFOs are real. Prophecy after prophecy after prophecy. All lighten up right now. This is the best time, the greatest time to be alive. Because we're seeing everything in the book come to pass. Love it. Love every piece of it. And earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. I'm going to come back to that. And shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. What was happening to those individuals that had to receive a medicinal probe? What's been happening? Y'all know I can't say it. What has been happening to some of the people that followed the mandate? I'll just name a few names. Colin Powell, Hank Aaron, Tiffany Dover. What happened? Are the scriptures not real? Did the Father not talk about this? Did the Father not just say that you will be afflicted? Let's get the definition of afflicted. Because you know some people. Let's go ahead and get that definition. Afflicted, definition of a problem or illness. Cause pain or suffering to, affect, or trouble. Complications? Y'all know I can't say it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Father just said all this was going to happen, and it did. Verse 10, then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The love of many shall wax cold. We don't give a damn about your job. You're going to do what we tell you to do. And if you don't do it, you're going to lose that job. And if you lose that job, you are not going to be able to provide for your family or for your damn self. So there is no love here. You're going to do what we told you to do. Why? Because we are a Republican country. We are a Republican state. And you are going to do what we tell you to do because we are your representatives and the law goes through us. We are not a democracy. Isn't it great to be an Israelite? We don't follow those rules. We follow the Father. We follow the Most High. The Most High told us, I'll supply all your needs. I got you. I got you. Verse 13, but he that shall endure until the end, those of you that hold on to the word of the Most High, those of you that keep the commandments, those of you that do not comply with what government has said, but what the government of the Most High said, which are his laws, statutes, and commandments. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. What the Father said. That's what the Father said. I didn't say it, the Father said it. Let's continue. Verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So everywhere that we have been scattered, everywhere that we have been sent, the Father said that gospel is going to reach our people all over the earth, the four corners. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, we're going to get into that here very deep in a second. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. And we going on out about our business. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. I'm going to stop it right there. Let's go back to verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So now for us to get the understanding, let's go back and see exactly what Daniel said. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. And this is talking about the abomination of desolation, because some people think it's one person, but I'm going to prove to you it's not. Daniel chapter 9 and verse 27. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. Here it is. It's a precept. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So that's just one. So now let's continue in Daniel. We'll go to chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11, verse 31. And it's going to have more of an understanding now. Here we go. An arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. So somebody about to catch an ass whooping. Somebody about to catch it. It's not us. It's the abomination of desolation. Let's continue on with this here. But before we go there, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the abomination of desolation? If you don't know the answer is Esau. Esau is the abomination of desolation. I'm going to prove it to you. It's not one single man. You see, Christianity has taught that one single man, this man, is going to appear as the Antichrist and everybody's going to bow down to this man. No, that is not true. Because as the scripture said, there are many Antichrists. Not just one, there's many. Many. Meaning a race of people that I'm going to show you. Please go to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. I'm going to read that one more time. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. Now, as we know from Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. Many of you should already know this. Who's that red man? Who is that red man, family? If you've been studying with me, who is that red man? It's Esau. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 7 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So, 7 heads, 7 horns, 7 crowns. This is all on one here. All on one. What are those 7 heads, family? It's the time of rulership. It's the time of rulership. Who has had the rulership over the world? And especially us in our captivity. The Greeks, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Those are all Edomites. Those are all Edomites. I'm going to read this one more time. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. I said 7 horns last time. Correction, it's 10 horns. And 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. What are those 10 horns? If you are unfamiliar with the date of March 25th, 1957, the Treaty of Rome took place on that date, on that day in history. The Treaty of Rome, which produced the 10 common European markets. Esau, Esau, Esau. And the Bible prophesied it. And here we are. Today, in the last days. Now, there was one little horn. Because you ask yourself, how does America fit into that? Now, you see it mentioned the horns there, right? So now there was one little horn that broke off. I want you to go to Daniel chapter 7 and verse 8, please. Back to the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 8. I consider the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Who broke off from Great Britain to produce their own country? That is now the world superpower that talk all the shit in the world that so many people were afraid of. I'm going to read that last part. And a mouth speaking great things. America always speaking these great things, and we're getting ready to do something here right now so that you can see that I'm telling you the truth. That's America when they broke away from England or Britain, whatever you want to call it. And said we're going to go do our own thing, and became world power. But when you look at the artifacts, when you look at the buildings, when you look at all of the buildings and the monuments right here in America, right? They take it right back to Rome. The obelisk, the columns, everything. The domes, the churches. All of that there, they go right back to their damn grandfather, which is Esau. They go right back to Rome. Listen, nothing is an extension of the Vatican. That's all it is. But it's still Esau. The Antichrist is Esau. The entire race of them. Many Antichrists. And when you participate and you follow their philosophy, you become an Antichrist. Because Christ told you don't vote for them. The Father, our forefathers, Moses, said, do not vote for these individuals. You can't put them over you. This is why Christ said, mind your business. Now, what was all that big talk, right? All the talk come from the presidents. And you're going to find out what current events right now. Watch this. First and foremost, with the Reagan administration, right? Remember, the beef with Russia goes all the way back to Reagan versus Gorbachev, for those of you that do remember that, that's old enough to remember. Or you are a historian. And what did Reagan do? Reagan said, okay, well, first of all, go ahead and come. We dare you. We dare you, Russia. Try us. And we're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb you. We're going to put you to dust. The administration after Reagan was who? George H.W. Bush. Now, George H.W. Bush did something very significant to the world. First and foremost, when they went to war with Iraq, what did he introduce to the world? George H.W. Bush introduced the daisy cutter. If you're not familiar with what the daisy cutter is, you better go look it up. The daisy cutter is a nuclear bomb that disintegrates things all the way down to the molecules. But the significant thing that he did is that he broadcasted it. He showed it on television. Do y'all remember during that time, for those of y'all that are old enough to remember, do y'all remember when we were sitting there watching the television and for the first time we saw there were cameras on the bombs? Woo! George H.W. Bush was like, yo, hold on a second. I'm about to show y'all just how loud we can speak. And then the administration after that came who? Came Clinton. Now, besides Clinton having everybody in the 8-year orgasm and completely mesmerizing black people, because they were saying that he was the first black president, which I found absolutely offensive. Because the man was a whore, and he truly, truly was. But he gets on to Arsenio Hall, so start playing the damn saxophone, and everybody fell in love with him. And then he got, everybody knows the story, the Monica Lewinsky, he got Lewinsky'd, okay, to keep it PG. But Clinton also dropped bombs. Remember that? Clinton was the one that said, yo, hold on, time out. We going to Africa. You're tearing them Hamites up. But he allowed himself to be shown. Now, the administration, George W. Bush. This is the thug of the presidents. I don't give a damn what you say. This is the thug nigga of the presidents. Because George W. Bush said, okay, Saddam Hussein, nigga, you owe my daddy money, and had that nigga killed. Killed him. Went and got one of their czars and said, all right, string him up, hung him for the world to see. But one of the most gangster things about what George W. Bush did, for one, John Kerry won the election. And Bush said, all right, nigga, you got the votes, but I'm taking the presidency. Go sit your ass down. And kept it that way for 8 years. Speaking great things. Then after that, Dr. Cool Hand Luke, Obama came in. And Obama came right out the gate and said, I'm going to do what you niggas couldn't do. I'm going to kill Osama bin Laden. Killed him. Speaking great things, this world criminal that nobody could catch. And Obama went right in there and said, well, I did it. And I dare anybody say anything about me, Michelle, Sasha, or Malia. Then he just went and fell back and was the coolest president that the world has ever seen, even though he's a Hamite. But he still had the swag. You can't deny the man. And then Bush was the thug of the gangsters, but there's a man that nobody ever expected called Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the gangster of all gangster of the presidents, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Donald Trump came in and spoke at a second grade level to a nation and rallied people to the point to where he said, hey, they are trying not to reelect me. Yup, 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 yup. And people from all over the country went to the Capitol building to storm it and was successful. There's no president in history that has ever rallied the country to turn against its government. You see, if you're not familiar with what happened at the Capitol building, the Most High used Donald Trump to raise the spirit of war in Esau. They're ready for war. Donald Trump snatched the heart of America and placed it right in his chest. And the Most High used him to do it. You see, Joe Biden may be the president, but Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief. When he speaks, people react. And so now you have this rickety-crickety, decrepit, old-ass president in there with a kink in his armor known as Kamala Harris. You don't take a woman to war. The mother countries see this and they recognize it. And now they talking big shit. Didn't the Father say, do not assert authority over a man? It's about to go down. Israel! I am so glad we was able to go ahead and poke our nose into the political arena. Again, I strongly encourage you, start watching the news more. Become familiar with what's going on around you because the prophecies are happening. If you're not paying attention to the news, if you don't know about the earthquakes, if you don't know about the tornadoes, that the Father said, my tempest is in my storms. If you don't know about these countries right now pointing the missiles at each other saying, listen, 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 you better shut your damn mouth. If you don't know about Babylon and its crumbling, then you are just out of touch. And you need to get in touch. You must. You have to know what's going on. But overall, you must 100% keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High because the sand of the hourglass is running out. Before that sky crack and them chariots come running through, just like we read 2 weeks ago, you know they have the weapons prepared for it. And Christ said, I'm coming back like a thief in the night. You ain't never know. You never know when I'm coming. I'm just going to hit you. Bow! And it's happening all around us. How many of you have sent me the videos of all the chariots that you have seen? How many of you have actually gone out and looked to see the chariots that are out there? They're out there. We're in the end, baby. Christ called it. And here we are. And the only person, the only one that is responsible for their salvation is you. And with that being said, Israel, I love you. I'm out.